Mama, mama, can't you see?
Mama, mama, can't you see
what the Alpha's done to me?
what the Alpha's done to me?
Standing strong, standing bold,
Standing strong, standing bold.
oh, the mighty black and gold.
Oh, the mighty black and gold.
Hey brothers, how you doing? I want to welcome each and every one of you again to another edition of Old Gold Table Talk. Get ready for an awesome session. This is Brother Terrence Hawkins actually coming to you guys. We have a special session, guys. There's always been talk about, hey, the new bros, the older bros, let's get them to talking. And that's what we're going to do right now on Old Gold Table Talk. All right. Welcome again, brothers, to Old Gold Table Talk. We have some brothers here that you're going to need to hear from, guys. We're going to have an awesome interview connecting the new school and the old school. And I'm excited to have this conversation. But before we get to the conversation, we want to welcome, guys, Brother Brian Sipner. Hey, bro, how you doing? Welcome to Old Gold Table Talk.
I'm doing well. How are you? Glad to be here.
I'm doing good. Brother, before we get going, tell us about this initiative or what you're doing right now with, everything about Old Gold Table Talk and linking these guys up. Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. So one of the things we're trying to do is combine initiatives. So in Alpha Phi Alpha, Beta Nu Lambda chapter, we have the Brothers Keeper program, which falls under our chaplain, Brother Dia. We also have our college chapters that we work with. We have representatives from Utah, University of North Carolina, Charlotte. And then also we want to bring together our NEO from Beta Nu Lambda to just kind of talk about, have a conversation, nothing overly formal, but just an opportunity to kind of learn from our special guest today, Brother Rudy Hendricks, and to kind of just ask questions. And more importantly, I like the platform because this gives people an opportunity, many new members we have coming in, to review this and learn a little bit about the chapter next time they're in a meeting. Maybe they'll see Brother Hendricks and speak to him and say, hey.
Yeah, I got the pleasure to actually meet him also. He was right there behind me. I had a big jug of water that time, though. I got a small jug now. But introduce the brother right there beside you. Who's the young man there beside you?
All right. So today, this is Brother Rudy Hendricks, a Beta Nu Lambda initiate, and we'll talk a little bit more kind of on the background and his story. And he's well known in the community, been around, and we're just happy to have you here with us. We're doing this virtually, so we're at the Beam facility on Beatty's Ford Road. We're in person, but everyone else is virtual, and that's the beauty of that platform. So hopefully we can reach a lot of brothers that want to learn.
Brother Hendricks, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine, brother. Good to see you. I'm glad to see you got a small jug of water.
Yes, sir. It's good to have it. But we're not going to hold it long. Let's bring on the Spring 22 line. Brothers, how you guys are doing today?
Doing well.
Awesome.
Doing good. Thank you for having me.
First time on Old Gold Table Talk. Let's start off with Utah up in here. Brother Thomas, introduce yourself, sir.
Yes, sir. I am a Spring 22 initiate of the Utah chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha.
Awesome.
So I am Brother Markel Limbacker Jr. I am a Spring 22 initiative of Beta Nu Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Awesome. Brothers, it's actually good to actually see you out here. We heard, I guess Brother Sipner actually heard that you guys had questions after questions of what's going on, and he's basically actually bringing on, Brother Hendricks to actually, so you can ask all your questions. Brother Sipner, I'm gonna actually let you actually get started and stuff on the platform, so these young men can ask some questions.
All right, very good. So I think what we'll do is start with Brother Limbacker. And if we go with some of the questions, kind of establish a little background, understand a little bit more about you, Brother Hendricks.
Very good.
Especially for those brothers who may not have had a chance to meet you. And then we'll just kind of roll in with Brother Thomas asking some questions about what college life is like for you, and then talk a little bit about the fraternity, and we'll just go from there.
Very good.
All right. Brother Limbacker, you want to kick it off with some questions?
Of course. Thank you, Brother Cyprian. So first off and foremost, it's an honor to be speaking with you, Brother Hendricks, and I appreciate this opportunity, Brother Hawkins and Brother Cyprian. I just wanted to start out by, just getting to know a little bit about yourself, like where are you from or where you born? And just tell me a little bit about your experiences and what was it like growing up for you?
Very good. My name is A. Rudolph Hendricks. I'm from, I was born in Barbados some years ago, and we moved from there to Atlanta, and I grew up in that area. I went to Stillman College in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, because I had got a call to the ministry, and Stillman is a good Presbyterian school. And then after graduating from Stillman, I came to Johnson C. Smith Theological Seminary here in Charlotte. That's how I ended up in Charlotte. And from that, I went to finished from Johnson C. Smith, and I went into the ministry for a while here, and then I went to Africa as a missionary in the Congo. And there in the Congo, I met a lot of brothers, and I had 2 roommates from the Congo. So at that particular time, I had sort of a jump on the language there, which was Chaluba, Moyu Udabish Bimpe, Chaluba. And while I was at Stillman, I was interested in starting an Alpha chapter, so we got all the information. And Stillman was a predominantly Black school, but it had mostly white teachers. And when we approached them about having a chapter on the campus, the president said, we cannot do that because that would segregate us. And that became a joke. But we didn't. We went through the process of coming in Alpha. And the weekend right before graduation, the brothers from Tuscaloosa told us that, well, brothers, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but we cannot initiate you all. And we got mad as a wet hen, but we didn't get initiated. So I came to Johnson C. Smith, and from there I got involved in the chapter here. And in Beta Nu Lambda chapter, I was initiated in Beta Nu Lambda chapter some years ago. And from that, I have been an interesting person in Alpha. I've held every office there in the fraternity. Even I was state director for a while in the state of North Carolina. And I was tutored under the Gus Witherspoon, who was an outstanding brother. I don't know if you all know Gus. He's deceased. But from there, we went forward. And we had some outstanding brothers, Tom Asbury, Talmadge McDowell, David Greer, Raymond Allison, Leslie Bellinger, many, many great brothers, but most of them are deceased. I'm the only one that seemed to be hanging around, and I guess I'm hanging around for a purpose. And my purpose is to get involved with the Beta Nu Lambda chapter and make sure that we are the most outstanding chapter in Africa. I am, well, let me see what else. I like to dibble. I'm a minister. I have a degree from Stillman, Johnson C. Smith, and a degree from Princeton. I have a DMIN, which is called a Doctorate of Ministries degree from Princeton Theological Seminary there in Princeton. And I love going to the meetings. You make brothers and you grow stronger, and you never know how your influence is felt throughout the country. When I was in Africa, I met a brother over there, and lo and behold, he was a brother from the chapter there in Atlanta. And we had a wonderful time just knowing that we had gone through those burning sands and knew what Alpha was all about. I believe that we are the better chapter the better fraternity that there is. And I like some of my hobbies. I have horses. I have some Arabian horses, which I show occasionally, and I have not shown for quite a while now because of my age is creeping up on me. But my age is a number, and it is unlisted. As a result of that, I own some property. I like to dabble in real estate because God ain't making no more land, and I'm trying to get all I can while it is available. I encourage the brotherhood to get involved, to make a difference. If you see something that you say it has never been done, my theory is to ask yourself why. And if you can't get an answer, ask yourself why not, and you bring the change to the forefront. I'd like for you to ask me some questions, and I hope I'm in a position that I will answer them. Either I will be a good brother, I will filibuster like Dickens.
Hey, Brother Thomas, do you have any questions just as it relates to that college experience, Brother Hendricks, and maybe correlate between your experience or what you're experiencing now at University of North Carolina, Charlotte?
Yes, it is also a pleasure. Thank you for having me on this show. Uh, a question I had was, how did you go about choosing your college and your major?
Did I go about what?
Choosing your college and your major.
Oh, well, I'm from a family that my daddy knew only one thing, to get babies. I'm from a family of 14. I'm the seventh boy and the 13th child. So I knew I had to get out and get a scholarship somewhere. And I was able to get a scholarship at Stillman. And while at Stillman, I played the piano and organ. And I ended up with one scholarship, but when I finished, I had gotten 3. So I didn't have to pay anything for my college at all. We had the school, as I said, was predominantly white teachers, and we'd had white folk always coming to the campus. And I was one of the ones who worked in the music department and also in the working with the administration in introducing the students to the visitors in campus. And I met a lady. We all had to work at Stillman, and I worked in with the animals and in the music department. And we had a program where we were singing, and I was accompanying the choir, and this lady came to me. She said, "Boy, didn't I see you this morning playing that organ?" And I said, "Possibly so." I had to sort of get over that voice deal. And so she said, "Oh, well, I want you to spend more time with your music." And I told her, I sort of got offended. I said, "Oh, I had practiced that piece and I didn't even need the music." She said, "Oh, no, that's what impressed me." And the next day, the president called for me to come to his office. And that scared me because when Dr. Hay called for you to come to his office, that meant you were on your way home. And I knew if I was on my way home, my daddy was going to give me a new one. So he said, "Mr. Hendricks, let me tell you something. You no longer have to go to the bond." I said, "Oh, good." And the lady had given me a scholarship, and he said she left her walking stick, and it was a silver walking stick. And she said, "You admired that," she said, "and she left this stick for you to know who gave you the scholarship." He didn't tell me her name. I didn't learn her name until it was graduation, and we got all the names of people that had contributed to our college. And I majored in music and religion. And I have a double major, and had a wonderful time at Stillman because there was a lot of beautiful girls at Stillman, and I was making my business to make sure that they didn't get homesick.
And
Anything else?
Yeah, I just had another question. What Greek organizations were on your campus, and what made Alpha Phi Alpha stand out? compared to the rest?
Well, Alpha was the first Greek organization that came to Stillman, and it came the year after I had graduated. And then the Omegas came, and the Kappas, and the AKAs, and Deltas.
Got you. Any advice for brothers like me who are in college preparing to start a career?
My career started while I was at Stillman, because we had an opportunity, since we were theological students, we had an opportunity to preach on Sundays. And I had a double situation. I would preach when my Sunday came, and then I would go out and play the piano, other instruments for the other brothers, and I was able to get a little bit of their money as well as what I was doing. And then there was a funeral home down the street from the college, and I was always on staff to play for funerals. So I was never broke.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I want to actually break out for 1 second. We have a lot of brothers that's live online. I just want to actually give an announcement. Those brothers that's live online, if you want to ask a question also as well, go ahead and put it into the chat or the comment section, and we can get that question asked as well. All right, all right. I got after one question real quick. I know I'm younger brother, I'm newer brother. I'm just spring 20 real quick. I saw you at the last meeting, and hearing you now by when you started, how important is it for us as brothers to basically continue to come to the meetings as even we get older?
It is vitally important. One of the emphases I placed when I was state director, that I spent more time with the younger brothers, teaching and by example and by instruction, because they are the basis for the future of our brotherhood. And it's important that we keep those principles alive in our everyday activity, on our jobs, in our homes, and with our family. And we are the future of tomorrow. Our brothers didn't sacrifice this just as a social club. They sacrificed Alpha for the purpose of formulating and bringing men into our society. And look at our men. I met Dr. Martin Luther King. I marched in the demonstrations. I was one of the ones who got, well, I shouldn't tell this, over the bridge in Selma. I got bit in where I sit by a German Shepherd dog. I never will forget that. And that fellow looked at me right funny, and I caught the dog, and he was saying, "Don't you kill my dog, don't you kill my dog." And that dog was weighing me out. And that dog said, and when he said that, I knew I had killed it. And I got out of there because my name was Mud. But the dog got a piece of me, and I got a piece of him. But
Wow.
it was interesting because you had an opportunity to do something and make an impression and to set up your plot in life. And Alpha was strong at that with our leadership and with our brotherhood. And our presidents were strong in pushing that idea. And therefore we are, first of all, and as it said, we shall transcend all, and we shall be the one that lead the future of tomorrow.
Love it.
So
Thank you.
Limbacker, you got any questions on your end?
My apologies, was on mute there. I wanted to really back in a little bit about your journey in Alpha, if you will. So I wanted to know, like, what year. We know the chapter that you crossed. You initiated into BNL. I wanted to know the year you were initiated, and I also wanted to know your line number, if you don't mind sharing as well.
I'm so delightful. My brother said, "If you remember." I started, as I said, in 62, but I wasn't able to cross until 3 years later. And I served, as I said, in every capacity in the chapters that I've only been in 2 chapters, which is the one at Stillman, the one at Johnson C. Smith, and Beta Nu Lambda. That's 3, I'm sorry. I went over and invaded Atlanta.
Perfect. I wanted to ask you, as an alpha man, how did that feel, that them getting Stillman College getting a chapter after you went, after you weren't initiated but went through that extensive process? How did that make you feel?
Well, I went back for the initiation and all that, and I was as much a part of that chapter as I've been all the others. Uh, One of the philosophies that I formulated in my life is we cannot let our mistakes, our errors, our misfortunes control us. Because if we do, they are controlling us and we're not having any future in our destiny. So you just put that behind you, use that as a stepping stone and move forward. And that has been my philosophy.
I appreciate you for sharing that. And my last question to you, pertaining to your entire alpha journey, is simply, what is one of your fondest and most memorable alpha memories? If not, you're continuing to, grab those as you go.
Oh, I make it my business to know and to meet brothers and to try to find something about that brother that would help me to understand and remember him. I told you that my age is a number and it's unlisted. I have been an alpha longer than I've been married. So and both of them are good. Ask my fellow that has the water.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good.
So I'm gonna pass back. You mentioned your wife. I'm gonna pass back to Brother Thomas just to see maybe you can transition to like just family. Alpha is
Yeah.
important, but there is a balance between your religious, your spiritual life, your family, and the fraternity.
That's right. I've been married for 60 years. I married my high school sweetheart, and she is a Spelman lady, and she has her master's in library science from Indiana University. And we have 3 children. We got 2 boys, Paul, Philip, and we have a daughter named Melissa. And my sons, Paul and Philip, and myself are all life members. 4 years ago, I gave them the opportunity to ask for what they wanted for Christmas. And my youngest son, who was interested in veterinary medicine, he says, I want a life membership. I want to be able to drop that thing and make it ding. And as a result of that, I surprised them both with life membership. And the office there in Baltimore made it possible, and I don't know how they pulled it off, but Santa Claus did bring those cards Christmas Eve night.
Nice.
So it was very, very, very appreciative. And as a result of that, they knew me there because I had made it my business to get to know the man that is in charge. And as a result of that, I have 5 grandchildren, and my daughter is a Spelman graduate, and my sons are Morehouse men graduates, and they're all alphas.
All right, Brother Thomas.
Awesome.
Sorry, I was muted there. I wanted to ask you, how was the transition from the college chapter and joining an alumni chapter?
Well, it's interesting. The young men in the college chapters keep us older brothers abreast of the changes and the things that's happening. And as I said, I spent a lot of time with the college brothers because they were bringing in new ideas, bringing in new activities. And as a result of that, that kept our chapter alive and motivated and involved. And then we have a lot of graduate brothers that are not active now here in Charlotte, but you will see them at the necrology services. and that type of thing. And we have our chapter has had very good presidents. Thomas Turner has been an outstanding president. He kept an interest and kept it involved where everybody would have to have an input into the fraternity. And as I tell them when they try to get off on the wrong foot, I tell them, well, you're learning like a watch. Pull it out when it is needed. And they seem to practice that very much.
I think that's one of the things that I've enjoyed the most about the chapter is the diversity of age and
Yeah.
responsibilities. You see people in roles that are neos, and you see our senior brothers still contributing and participating.
Right.
So that's a good vibe that we have going on in Beta Nu Lambda.
Very good. And then we've had places to meet. You know, this house here, we purchased it, and I was fortunate to when they was getting this house. As I said, I like real estate, and I had just sold some property, and I made a contribution, and my wife hadn't got over it yet. She said, Rudolph, why are you giving out Beta Nu Lambda $14,000? And I said, well, sweetie, let me tell you something. I'll either give it to Beta Nu Lambda in the church, either Uncle Sam will get it.
Right.
And Beta Nu Lambda is going to thank me. And Uncle Sam going to say, yeah, you got that, bring me some more. So that's one of the policies that I have with taxes and natures of things like that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Brothers, we got a question that's coming from Facebook. I want to actually show real quick. We do have a question coming from Facebook. It's a subset. Brother Hendricks says, witnessing the memorial of Brother Dr. King's work and movement, monument, and the acquisition of Alpha's chapters house at Cornell. What is another national edifice that our fraternity, should push to formally recognize?
How did we break that down?
I'm saying, like, what's the next thing? So we recognize Dr. King.
Oh, yeah.
And Alpha chapters got the house at Cornell that they're requiring. What is that next thing that would kind of
What's the
help
next big thing?
memorialize Alpha Phi Alpha from a national perspective, let's say?
Oh, I think one of the things that would really bring some input to us if we would begin to put emphasis on our race. If we begin to have things that we have started, that we are promoting, and make jobs for our race, not being prejudiced, of course, but we all are. But make sure that we are living up to the standards and the principles of what Alpha means for each of us, and particularly for the world as we find it today. Because it is an awful situation, the world is. We got to emphasize to our younger brothers and older brothers that guns needs no place in our society at all. I was in England at one time, and to my surprise, the officers over there carried no guns. But here, everybody got guns. And that's one of the things that we as Alpha men must stress, that education is the key to success. And we must educate our men, our women, and our children.
Awesome.
We got a couple more questions, Brother Hendricks, and then we'll just do a round table if there's any questions, or Brother Hawkins sees anything on the Facebook aspect. But Brother Thomas and Brother Limback, if you just kind of wrap up those last few questions we have, and we'll be done.
I'll let you go first, Brother Thomas.
Yes, I just have one final question. How were you able to balance your schoolwork and just other extracurricular activities with Alpha while in college?
Oh, when I was in college, we had to have a B average to pledge. And we had those teachers at Stillman who would tell you, I've got a call from God to be here to give you this instruction. And at the same time, her calling was to give you an F to make you do that work over again. But it made us realize the importance of the leadership of dynamic teachers and persons. And one of the things that I think that Alpha must realize and practice, we first of all, we are the first, and that means something.
Thank you for that answer, Brother Hendricks. I just wanted to ask you something that's burning within me is to know, have you seen the transition of Alpha when you were first initiated to now 2022, almost 60 something odd years later? How has that transition been for you? What have you seen? What are some areas where we can do better as Alpha men?
Well, one of the things we've got to come to grips with, this hazing. There's no place in Alpha for hazing. But now you all don't know what hazing is. When I went over in Alpha, that was something to contend with. I never will forget, and I hope I'm not giving any secrets out. I hope I'm not. We all had to take a bath in sorghum syrup and be rolled up in cornflakes and then put those clothes on, and they would take us to some strange place, and we had to find our way back home. And those very delicate areas of our body suffered more than was necessary. Didn't I address that out?
You address. I'm glad we don't do that. All right.
Is there?
I do want to do a quick
brother.
a correction real quick, and then I do have a question that's on the actual Facebook line. Actually, Brother Ross wants to make sure that everybody actually know also that the property at Cornell has not yet formally been purchased. Okay, so it hasn't formally been purchased yet and stuff. He wants everybody to know that. But we do have an actual question from Mary's got. His question would be: throughout life, it seems that you had to persevere through change. What would your advice be for someone trying to be better adapted?
For someone trying to be better,
better adapt.
Well, I being a minister, I have all those little cliches that will, if you just practice them and live by, you'll be successful. But one of the things, as I said, my mother used to tell us all, when somebody would be trying to show off, and she would say, wear your learning like a watch. Pull it out when it is needed. Because everybody's got a little education and a little money now. So we must learn, regardless of our achievements, how humble we can get and be, and we will go forward like never before.
Awesome. I think we ought to give actually last words first. To our actually younger actual brothers. Do you want to say last words to thank actually Brother Hendricks or anything like that? And we're going to give him the last words.
You want me to give you?
I think
you're going to go last. I'm waiting on Brother Thomas and Brother Lambert first.
I will. I'll go first. I just wanted to say, as a Beta Nu Lambda initiate as well, I would say it's an honor, Brother Hendricks, to have interviewed you and asked a few of these questions. It's an honor, Brother Hawkins and Brother Cyprian and Brother Thomas, to share this space with you all as well. I love doing interviews. I'm going to get back to doing my interviews as well. So I'm glad for this space, and I'm blessed, and I'm highly favored to be here. So, thank God, and in the name of Alpha as well. Also, I'm appreciative. So thank you, Brother Hendricks. This is an honor, truly.
As Brother Limbacker said, just truly thankful for you, Brother Hendricks, for sharing your wisdom with us. Thank you, Brother Hawkins and Brother Cyprian, for this opportunity for this interview as well. Thank you so much.
Brother Hendricks, our final words.
Brothers, let me say this to you. Yesterday is dead. Forget it. Tomorrow, it never comes. Today is here, so use it. And this is what Alpha must be all about. We must not wallow in the mistakes, the opportunities that we say we've had and didn't take, but we must move forward. And by doing that, we will keep Alpha alive. Thank you for this opportunity to share this with the brotherhood. And if I had known I was going to have to do this, I would have had a treatise prepared. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Hendricks.
Well, also, thank you. So, Brother Cyprian, it is show, please, sir.
All right, brothers, I appreciate you. Brother Hendricks, I appreciate you coming down. to
Thank
the
you.
Beam facility, frat house, just sharing your wisdom with us, spending time. This has been valuable to me. I learned a lot about you. I've seen you around, but I didn't know all these facts. And I'm hopeful that there's a brother out there that's part of Beta Nu Lambda who's been inspired to see
Very
that you're
good.
active and you still have that fire. Haven't been in so long, and more importantly, that you're willing to spend time with those who are newly initiated. Doesn't matter where you're from and where you are, and that's, to me, is the beauty of Alpha.
Very
I want
good.
to thank each one of the brothers who've taken their time to participate. Brother Thomas, I know you're a busy college student. Appreciate you joining on. Brother Lindbacker, appreciate you joining. Brother Hawkins, I appreciate you allowing us to leverage the Old Gold Table Talks platform to reach as many brothers as we're able to reach. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. And that's goes another after show, Old Gold Table Talk. Brothers, hold still after for a second. I get right back with you.